Okay, first of all, I want to apologize to you guys before this begins. I shouldn't have done that question 13 at 100 miles an hour, because now, because the class is terrified before we start. Okay, so I apologize about that. If you are texting your friends, please don't. Okay? But I'm sorry about that. This one you guys can do. This is adding and subtracting rationals. It's just like adding and subtracting fractions. When you add and subtract a fraction, what is the first thing you must get? Common denominators. So step one is going to be find a common denominator. Bracket, whatever you multiply the denominator by. Shoot. You must also I want to apologize, this is actually step number 3. I'm sorry, that's the truth, it actually is number 3. I apologize, I'm doing this from memory because my the computer, the internet wasn't supposed to be working. That's actually, don't erase everything, because you can, okay, step number 1 and step number 2 are the same as always. What's the first step every one of these questions? What? Factor. So step number 1 is still factor. Okay. What's step number 2 still? Step number 2 is still state restrictions. Okay. So sorry about that, I forgot those two, that's how it always happens. Okay, once you have factored and stated restrictions and got your common denominators and made equivalent fractions, because that's what number 3 is basically saying. What do you do when you add fractions? Sorry? No, that's already done. We've already done number 3 there. Already found the common denominator. Add the numerators. Okay? So step number 4 is going to say, before I look at the numerators and add them, number 5 is going to say factor and cancel its factor and numbers. Simplify if possible. Okay, I'm going to start with nice examples and move up to awesome examples. Now this one is the most complicated, just like when you're adding and subtracting fractions. Multiplying is easy, then adding is more difficult. This will be more difficult. You guys all have wonderful math skills, and I apologize with number 13 for scaring you guys on the last question. Well, money skills better. So do not be afraid, you guys can do that. They're quite provoking, actually. No, I think we kept. Okay, here you go, example 1. Uh, 3 over 4 plus 2 over x. It's going to be our first question. Okay, now let's just go through here. Step number 1 at the middle there says factor. Can we factor anything? No, because this is an example 1. Number 2, state restrictions. What are my restrictions, Logan, please?
0 and -4.
No. Okay, now I didn't mean to say no. I meant to say I'm sorry. That's incorrect. Let's try and work together to find an answer. So I should say. Okay. All right. 0 is correct. The thing is, for this, since there's no x here, there's nothing to do with it. This denominator can never equal 0 on the left. All right, on the right, 0 is the only thing. If I plug in a -4, that's not going to work. Okay, so Gabrielle, you can take this, or you can open for anybody here. Gabrielle, what's my common denominator going to be here in this case? Close? 4x. Okay, because they both, remember, just in general, you multiply the common denominators by multiplying. So in this case, it's going to be equals 4x. plus something over 4x. Okay. All right, Miss Eckert, on the left-hand side, what did I multiply the denominator by? So what did it do to the numerator? Multiply by x. Does everyone see that? 3/4 changes to 3x over 4x. Right? The denominator got multiplied by x, the numerator got multiplied by x. All right, Julia, what did the denominator get multiplied on the right? So what did it do to the numerator? 4. I'm just going to write it. I'm going to write it like this, but it is 8. Okay, but I'm just going to write it like that. Are we okay on what just happened there before I move on? So, if this was winter, I'd be very upset. For this one here? Well, no, because if okay, let's slow down. Because if you take a look, okay, really now? Okay. All right. So now the next step is going to be boil out the numerators and add them. Okay. So that's just going to turn into 3x plus 8. Okay. And then my denominator stays the same. It goes to 4x. That's all there is to adding fractions right there. Okay, before we start the next question, take a deep breath and let me know if there's any questions. Here. Where are you guys going? I'll go ahead. X? Where? Oh, because, okay, good question. There was already an x in the denominator here, right? Okay, so in order to make it 4x, you just times it by 4, right? So again, the 2 just get multiplied by 4 since there's no x in the numerator here. All right, here we go, example 2. Ready for this one? We're moving up a little bit. We'll go 5 over x plus 1 plus 3 over x minus 3. Okay, this looks frightening. You guys can do this, though. Brooke, I'm going to start with you. Do we have to factor anything here? This looks good. No factoring. All is well. Brooke, what are the restrictions on x, please? Yeah, good. X cannot equal 3. Good. 3 and -1. Very good. Okay, now this is a deep part. So take a deep breath before we continue here. Madison, lucky you. What is my common denominator, Madison, going to be?
Okay. Well, that should be like x2x.
No.
X.
Just wait here. Just wait. Stop. How did we find the common denominator over here? What do we do? We just multiply. So all we're going to do for this, we're just going to do multiply again. Just wait. Just don't go too big. Don't, guys. Okay. Open up your minds here. Okay, it's nice. So just so we do regular for fractions, we multiply, guys. So all we did for here was 4 times x, right? So I'm just doing the same thing here in terms of 4x. All I'm doing for this is I have 2 separate denominators. All I'm doing is I'm multiplying together to get a common denominator. Yes, go ahead. Brooke, yes?
Why on example 1 isn't 4 restriction?
Okay, good question. Because we said this one, but that's okay. Because there's no x combined with this one, this fraction can never be divided by 0. Like no matter what value you put in for x, so this one's out, it's only going to be that. Okay, so let's just keep going here, and we'll hopefully this will sink in after a little bit here. Okay, Vanessa. On the left-hand side, what was the new thing that you multiplied the denominator by?
X minus 3.
Good. So what does that mean you have to do to the numerator? Okay. So if you take a look, it's an equivalent fraction, right? You started with 5 over x plus 1. The difference is there's an extra x minus 3 in the denominator. There has to be an extra x minus 3 in the numerator. All right, Albert, on the right, what extra is in the denominator, please? Good. So what do you have to add extra? What do you have to multiply the numerator by? And this is the time to let it soak in and ask questions. I'm QB 2014. Don't focus on the slot black, half back, quarterback play. Focus on this, please. Yes.
Why is 3 times
The reason I just did it like that was because, please don't pass away yet, because I wanted to see X plus 1's line out there. Yeah. All right, Madison A. Next step is FOIL up the numerators and add them. So that's what you're going to do for me right now. What is 5? Can I talk here, please? What is 5 times x minus 3, please?
5x minus 15.
Good.
And then 3x plus 3.
So far, so good. All right, Callan, what is 5x minus 15 plus 3x plus 3 equal to? No. Never in your life. Sorry, let me try it again. Sorry, that's incorrect. The word together to do find the right answer. Never in your life are you ever going to FOIL the denominator. The reason the denominator is used for 2 things. Number 1, to cancel something with the numerator, like to cross out if we can. Secondly, it's there for restriction. But you're never in your life going to FOIL the denominator. And even if you look at the steps here, when we go back one page, okay, it says FOIL out the numerators and add them. Never it says, and then factor and simplify possible. We're never ever going to FOIL the denominators. Okay? I didn't mean to come out like that. We will work together to get the right answer. What is 5x minus 15 plus 3x minus 3?
8x.
Yeah. Is it plus? Oh, minus 12, sorry. Yeah. Thank you. All over x plus 1 and x minus 3. All right. IMQB 2013. Are you happy with that answer? I see 2 things wrong with it. Okay. Go ahead. What's one thing? Good. I see one other thing. Say restricted just 1. What else? Madison. Yeah. What is the numerator factored by? 4. Okay. So I'm going to call this 4. 2x minus 3 divided by x plus 1, x minus 3, where x cannot equal negative 1. All right. The reason we have to factor that last part is that I'm hoping, among hope, that I can just cross this with something there. That's the dream. Okay? And on your final exam, I have a magical question saved up for you. It'll cross out and you'll say yes. You'll go woohoo! Or cheer, whatever you would say when something crosses out. Okay? It'll work out beautifully. But right now, it's not going to work because I'm making something in my head. Okay, questions and fears. I'm going to pause the video and you're going to tell me every question that you have while the video stops. 13 minutes.